Today we're going to be going over the best youth quarterback drills. Now this first drill is an easy footwork drill for youth quarterbacks, and that is something called a line drop. So what you're going to do is you need to have a line here. You're going to straddle this line in your shotgun stance. You could either start with your right foot back, you can start with your left foot back, you can start with your feet neutral. It really doesn't matter to me, just whatever stance is comfortable. Now you want to have your butt down, you want to have your chest up. A lot of young quarterbacks like to hunch over. Make sure we keep my chest up so I can see the field. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be simply dropping back down this line. Now why are we doing this? Obviously we're working on our drop mechanics as a quarterback, but why we're doing this, because a lot of young quarterbacks don't get depth on their 3-step, their 5-step drop, because their first step almost goes behind them, right? So if I'm going down this line drop and my back leg, so if I'm a right-handed quarterback, this is my right leg. If my right leg goes behind me, I start going crooked off this line. We obviously want to stay straight on this line and keep my toes on this line. Now, another mistake the quarterbacks will make is because they're trying to get back fast, they're trying to get depth on their drop, is they won't reach with their back leg, they will try to run with their front leg. So if you're a right-hander, that's your left foot. If you're a left-hander, that's your right foot. So for example, we drop back with this foot, I go back, but this foot almost turns and your hips close off because you're trying to run and get depth. But what that's going to cause us to do is be closed off, not see the left side of the field, and drift to the right on this line. So we want, guys, a big reach step and a baby crossover step. And the entire time on this line drill, I want to be able to scan the field and almost see completely behind me to the left as I am dropping back. So we're going to show you how this should look full speed. Every quarterback should do probably about a 30 to, I would say 25 to 30 yard line drop, maybe about 4 to 5 times before every workout. Now this next drill for youth quarterbacks is going to be another footwork drill, and then we're going to get into the best throwing mechanics drills for younger quarterbacks in a second. So this drill is going to be called our 3-step and 5-step drop circuit drill, if you will. So we got 4 cones set up. Now at each one of these cones, you're going to be taking a 3-step or a 5-step drop. So the rhythm of this is going to be 3, 5, 3, and 5. So it's working on obviously my 3-step and my 5-step drop, but it's also working on my base and me climbing up in the pocket with a good mechanically sound base to where I'm in a position to throw. I'll explain in a second. So what you're going to do, you're going to start out here, whether it's your left foot back, right foot back, I really don't matter again. But set, go, we're going back. It's 1, 2, 3, and you're going to pause on your 3rd step of the drop. When you get to your 3rd step of the drop, I want to have about 65% of my weight loaded onto my back leg, not a knee bend. You want to stand up tall. It's more like a shift back, and this foot is going to be stacked underneath your knee and your head. Your weight's going to be back, because that's a position where I could just separate and throw no matter what platform I'm on. So you're going to hit your 3rd step, you're going to get stacked. Then we're going to shuffle up to the next cone, maintaining my stacked position. Then you're going to reset. Don't just go right into the 5-step drop. You're going to reset. Set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get stacked. Shuffle up again to this cone. 3-step. Shuffle up to the last cone. 5-step. And if you want, you could throw off of the last 5-step drop. But this is mainly focusing on our footwork. So I'm going to show you how this drill is going to look full speed. You want to do about 4 to 5 reps of this drop back circuit. Now, before we get into this full speed example, you guys, as a younger quarterback, there's so much more to the position than footwork, arm strength, accuracy, throwing mechanics. You also need to have the mental side of the game locked in. So if you guys want to learn how you can read defenses, improve your football IQ, know how to recognize coverages, check out that very first link in the description below. What you can get access to is over 500 different videos that I myself have made. All the videos are categorized by coverage name, play concept name, etc. Guys, it's going to teach you all about how you could read defense from a quarterback perspective, what to look for pre-snap, and the weaknesses of defenses all broken down for you. So guys, if you want to improve your football IQ, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. Now this next drill for youth quarterbacks to work on your throwing mechanics is going to be our 2 football sequence drill. So one of the common mistakes that a lot of young quarterbacks will make is that when they're throwing the ball and it comes down to their backstroke, that's the way they take the football back. A lot of young quarterbacks love to lift this ball directly to 90 degrees. Now you don't want to get to, you want to get to 90 degrees. This is a spot that you want to get to, but you get to 90 degrees as a second part of your throwing sequence. What I mean by that is when your front foot gets down in your throwing motion, you're not lifting to 90 90, because then when you lift to 90 and your hips, your core rotates through, this ball starts to pull behind your head. You maybe lean out of the throw a touch, but this ball pulling behind your head puts a ton of pressure on your elbow, your shoulder, your rotator cuff, and this is not a efficient position to be with that ball behind your head, especially when you have shoulder pads and a helmet on. It's actually an unrealistic position to get to. So this 2 football sequence drill helps us get to something called an opposite equal position. So a lot of guys will say that when you'd go back and your front foot gets down, you want to get to an opposite L. I don't need it to be a perfect opposite L position. I just need some kind of backstroke position. I just need somewhere not at 90 degrees. So when your front foot gets down and your hips and your core rotate through the motion, that is what brings your arm up to 90. This ball can stay away from your head, so it's a more realistic throwing position when you have shoulder pads and a helmet on, and it's more healthy for your shoulder, rotator cuff, and elbow. So this 2 football sequence drill helps us get to that spot. So what you're gonna do, you need a football, 2 footballs like so, and you're gonna do, it's a 2-part drill. So what you're gonna do is set go on the first part of this drill. You're gonna connect the 2 points of the football. If you lift to 90 degrees, it's very hard for you to connect the 2 points. You wanna stay right here, relax, elbows and shoulders are relaxed, 2 footballs at the middle of your chest. You're gonna step, connect the points. Then on the second one, you're gonna connect the points and then shoot through and throw, keeping this football in your front hand. So I'm gonna show you how this drill should look full speed. You wanna do about 15 to 20 reps of this drill to work on having a good backstroke in your motion and building strength in that backstroke and muscle memory. Now this next drill for youth quarterbacks is going to be working on our throwing mechanics at the top of our drop when I am taking a hitch onto a throw. So you need a towel for this drill and some sort of line that can serve as a guideline for our feet. So the way you want to hold this towel, the reason why like a lot of you young guys may have seen it, like older quarterbacks, college quarterbacks do work with the towel where they throw and they mimic a throwing motion and they whip this towel. The reason why we do that is it's working on my wrist flick and my extension point. For a spiral, obviously you need to be able to flick your wrist, but for accuracy and also to help with my spiral, I don't want to just flick my wrist. I want my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder completely extended to the target. So when I do that holding this towel, you hear like a whip. If I don't extend, you don't hear a whip. So that's essentially why we work on this towel, and it serves as sort of resistance, but it's also a way to get extra reps without putting a ton of pressure and mileage on my arm with throwing a football. So you can do this type of stuff in your room, in your backyard, and keep it super simple. So how you want to hold the towel, you don't want to grab it with your fist gripping the towel. You want to have your middle finger over the top of the towel like so, almost holding it like a bird, and your 4 fingers are going to be underneath the towel. So what you're going to do is it's going to be a 3-part hitch drill. So you're going to start out, if you're a right-handed quarterback, your left foot is going to have weight on it, and you're going to be slightly leaning forward like I'm hitting the top of a 3-step drop. Now I'm at the top of this drop, or a 3-step drop and a hitch if you will. So we're going to be here, and all you're going to do is replace your feet 3 times. You're going to replace the left foot with the right foot and shift your weight back. We'll talk about why that's important in a second. Then you're going to go back again, replace the second time, go back again. Then on the 3rd replace, we're going to shoot through and throw with the towel. You want to try to do about 10 to 12 reps of this drill. Now, why is that drill important? How does that help us? So a lot of young quarterbacks, to be able to generate power, that comes from something called, you have to be able to generate something called torque. Now torque comes from, like, think of it like a baseball swing, right? So baseball hitters and quarterbacks generate power the exact same way, from torque. So if I'm a hitter in the batter's box, pitch comes at me, I step to the pitcher, but I keep the bat back here and I keep some weight back here, right? So when I squish that back bug and my hips fire through, the bat trails behind, and that coiling effect is torque. Same thing as a quarterback. When I go to throw and I step to my target, I got to keep my weight back. You want to stay stacked as your front foot steps to the target. Head, knee, and foot are stacked, so my shoulders can rotate back. They call that hip and shoulder, or upper body and lower body dissociation. Your shoulders are back as your front foot gets down. So now your hips come through, whipping the arm through, and that's what creates velocity on the ball. Now, how does this apply? How does this drill apply to that? A lot of young quarterbacks will drop back, they take a 3-step drop, and then they hitch up on a throw, but they keep their head almost stacked with the front side of their body. So even if they try to separate their shoulders, even if they try to keep their weight back, because their weight is forward, their back hip, their back leg are disengaged, and they end up pushing the ball. So that's what this drill works on. You having to replace your feet gets your weight to that stacked position so I could separate and have my hips drive me through, okay? Okay, so again, 8 to 10 reps on this drill. I'm gonna show you how this thing should look full speed. Now, before we get into that full speed example, fellas, if you're a quarterback and you would like to train with us this offseason, we're coming out to 7 more states across the country for 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camps. Next up on our camp tour, guys, we're gonna be coming out to Buffalo, New York. Then we'll be heading out to Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, Boise, Idaho, and Los Angeles, California. So guys, if you would like some more information on how you could sign up and attend one of our off-season camps, check out that very first link, or second link, check out that second link in the description below for more information and how you could sign up for one of our camps. Now, this next drill for youth quarterbacks is going to work on your front side discipline, and I call this a throw and reset drill. So a lot of times a mistake the young quarterbacks will make when they throw is like, obviously I generate power from my hips, from my legs. We talked a lot about upper body and lower body dissociation, generating torque, a lot like a baseball swing. But a lot of times quarterbacks, when they take a step with their front stride, they don't rotate their shoulders back. What they'll do is they will open up with their shoulders, they'll rip this front elbow, rip their shoulder, rip their head in this direction, almost leaning out of the throw, which can cause their release point to be very wide outside of their body frame and have them miss maybe high, off to the right, or off to the left. So this throw kind of helps us correct that problem. Now, it might feel a little bit weird if you have this problem, but bear with me, you guys, because this is a great drill to help on us when we throw, staying nice and square to the target. We want my hand up by my face like I'm singing out of a microphone, and we want my shoulders and my hips to finish square to my target. So what you're gonna do, you need a ball. You wanna do about 15 to 20 reps of this. But you're gonna start out like so, and you're going to throw this ball, and as you throw the ball, you're gonna do a quick reset and get back to your base, because again, that doesn't allow us to over rotate and swing open. We step, we throw, we flip back to work on that front side being nice and controlled and letting my hips and my legs generate the power in this throwing motion. So I'm gonna show you how this thing should look full speed.